Familiar?
Yes and no.
The score is all tied up.
Back on the Jim Brickman Show, I am so excited. In fact, verging on obsessed with my next guest and what he has to bring. Loren Ruch, who is the producer of a Very Brady Renovation. Yes, the Brady Bunch is coming back to television with a really cool concept on HGTV, and we're talking with the producer of this upcoming show, Loren Ruch. How you doing, Loren?
I am great. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm so excited to be here.
Me too. And, we talk to you often when there's something big coming, but this one, I had to talk to you about it because we're such big fans of the Bradys. And so tell me a little bit about this concept, about taking the original Brady house and restoring it.
Yeah, it's been honestly the most exciting project I've ever worked on in my entire career because what we've created is going to blow your mind. So as most people know, there was the exterior shot of the house that you saw in every single episode of the Brady Bunch. But what most people don't know was that house was truly just used for exteriors. The entire inside of the house was shot at a lot at Paramount Studios. Well, HGTV bought that house that went up for sale, and over the past 9 months, we've matched every single space inside the house to be an exact replica of what the Brady Bunch house would have been like if it was a brick-and-mortar location.
Oh.
So we've basically created the Brady Bunch house from the house that was only used for those shots that you saw in the television show. So that's the project.
And then the cast was
that was the most challenging part of this is we bought the house, and then we had a moment of, oh my God, what do we do with this? Because when I toured it for the first time, the inside of that house looked nothing like the show. It was a single-story house, first of all. It was only 2,000 square feet. When we started to figure out what the real size would have been for the Brady Bunch house, it was closer to 4,000 square feet. And so we didn't know what we were going to do with the house architecturally, and then we didn't know would it even be possible to have any of the Brady cast members become part of the show. And through really like lots of meetings and lunches and getting to know this incredible cast, we were able to get all 6 of them signed on to be part of this show and to help actually design the house.
And I noticed on your social media, because I was, creeping on you a little bit, that you actually are really good friends now with Marsha Brady, Maureen McCormick.
With all of them. I mean, truly, Jim, the most incredible part of this whole show is my 10-year-old self is living his best life.
Yeah,
because
no
I'm
kidding.
really getting to know these people that I grew up with, but know them as adults, and they're wonderful. Maureen is wonderful. Eve is terrific. Susan is great. I mean, all of them are just wonderful to work with. They're so professional. They're so into this concept and this show, and they were all so helpful in sharing their memories and their stories and their reflections, which ultimately helped us make a better house.
So when does the show start so we can see it from the beginning?
Sure. It starts, it's very easy to remember. It's 9/9 at 9 o'clock. So September 9th at 9 p.m. on HGTV. And we'll run for consecutive weeks following that. And as you watch the series, by the end of the series, you'll see the entire house come together. So you'll see every room and every nook and cranny that was part of this fabulous house, from the signature staircase all the way to Greg's attic and everything in between.
Okay, so now I have just a couple specific questions.
Yep.
Mike's den?
Yep.
Okay.
That was one of the best rooms in the entire house. When I walked in to my own reveal of that room, it brought tears to my eyes because I felt like I was literally in the television show. It was incredible. That room is, I think it's one of the best rooms in the entire house.
Wow. And now this gets really particular. You're talking about your 10-year-old self. So I have a specific question about the boys' bedroom.
Okay.
So they had this wallpaper.
Yep.
That was ships.
Yep.
I had that wallpaper in my bedroom. Not because it was on the show, but because That's what I picked for my wallpaper.
That's hilarious. Do you know what's so crazy, Jim, is that we tried to find all of the various artifacts of the show and wallpaper, lamps, furnishings, and that wallpaper in the boys' room is no longer made for obvious reasons. People don't really have wallpaper like that anymore. So we had to have it custom created. We showed the entire process of how we created it. If you had that in your room as a kid when you watch the show, you are going to go crazy because it is replicated to a T, and we show the whole process within one of the episodes of the show.
Wow. So did you add a second story?
We added a second story. We added an entire wing. Basically, we added the kitchen and the den and the boys and girls rooms and the Jack and Jill bathroom. Those were all new additions that were not part of the original footprint of the house that we bought.
So you and I are both from Los Angeles. We spent a lot of time there, and
Yep.
where the house is located is right around the corner from where I lived, and you as well.
Yep.
And
yeah, it's right in the middle of like North Hollywood Studio City area, in the middle of the San Fernando Valley.
Yeah.
It's in a beautiful but very traditional neighborhood. You know, it's a house that has been there for 50 years or so, and so it's just incredible that the inside of it is now a time capsule.
Yeah, and of course, so many of us we knew where it was just from word of mouth, and so the drive-bys were just people always driving by. So now when you guys were filming, that must have been a mecca for tourists.
I have such a funny story about that. First of all, there's a rumor that it's the second most photographed house in America after the White House. So I don't know if that's factual, but we've heard that now from a number of people. But the part that has been so funny is when we were shooting the show, people do drive by all the time. They walk by. They had no idea that we were working on the house. And there were a couple of days when people were walking by and all 6 of the Bradys were standing in front of the house. And it was this surreal experience of people screaming, and they were so excited. It was almost like playing with their minds that they were seeing the Bradys living in the house that they associated with them.
Exactly. It's like a time warp, and then reality versus fantasy, and I cannot wait to see this. September 9th at 9 o'clock on HGTV, a Very Brady Renovation. And who all of the cast members are going to be in the show?
All 6 of the Brady kids from the show. So you have Maureen McCormick, Eve Plum, Susan Olsen, who are the 3 girls, Marcia, Jan, and Cindy. And then we have Barry Williams, Christopher Knight, and Mike Lookenland, who are Greg, Peter, and Bobby. So they're all part of the show, and they each took on a different room in the house that they spearheaded. And then we also have HGTV talent in the show that they were paired with. So within the show, we also have the Property Brothers. We have Leanne and Steve Ford from Restored by the Fords. We have Mina and Karen from Good Bones. We have Lara Spencer from Flea Market Flip. So we have Jasmine Roth from Hidden Potential. So there's also a number of our HGTV talent that will be seen in each episode that take the reins on the actual design of these rooms.
Yeah, because you have to do that. I am so excited. Loren Ruch, who is a producer of a Very Brady Renovation, the restoring of the Brady Bunch House from TV with all 6 kids who are part of the renovation. And last but not least, how could 6 kids share that bathroom? Seriously.
We heard so many funny stories about that bathroom, to be honest, when we created the Jack and Jill bathroom. First of all, a little bit of trivia. During the time that the Brady Bunch was made, they were not allowed to show toilets in television shows. So the house had no toilets in it, which is hilarious to begin with. But the other thing that most people don't know about is in that Jack and Jill bathroom that the kids shared, technically there was no mirror because the mirror is where the cameras were at.
Right.
So they were basically performing directly to camera in a room with no mirrors in it, and it was so fun getting to replicate the house because we had, think about this, there's cameras in each room, so really in essence each room on the show was only three
Three walls. Exactly.
So we also got to take the lead on that fourth wall of each room
Right.
and create what would have been the Brady Bunch House, but never really existed because it's where they were shooting from. So
Right.
we got to put in a mirror in the bathroom. We got to put in, the additional wall where they would watch television in the living room, or we could put in those fourth walls that you would not have seen in the show too.
Well, and so many of us who grew up watching it, like you and I, of course, around the same age, and it was such it's like we all wanted our house to look like that.
Absolutely. I mean, we watched it as our own fantasy home. We say that it really is America's home. It feels like the home that everyone of a certain age, or even not a certain age, because it's been in syndication for so many years, almost everybody over the age of 20 knows what the Brady Bunch house looks like. Yeah, we all have our own memories of it.
That kitchen. I wanted that kitchen. Anyway, Loren Ruch, check out the Very Brady Renovation at HGTV, 9 p.m. on September 9th. We will be watching with some popcorn and getting ready to see how you did this. It's fascinating. Thanks a lot for joining me, Loren.
Thanks so much. Hope to talk to you soon.
Crazy. We'll take it all in.